So yeah, this section we're going to look at what are known as people counter sensors. Some other people know them as floor counter sensors. And these are particularly useful when you want to look at the number of people in a space. You're not necessarily worried about where they are in the space, you just want to look at how near to capacity, for instance, so in a building or on a floor or in a room. These sensors were originally developed for the retail sector, and they would help clients understand the movement of shoppers around stores and through checkouts, etc. But over the past, I would say 4 to 5 years, we're starting to see increased usage of these sensors outside of the retail sector. Large uptake in usage within higher education, where a client will want to potentially measure the capacity or how many people are in a lecture theatre, for instance, or in a building, or how many people are in my building at any point in time. These sensors can, they would be positioned over an ingress or egress point, and can give you real-time data for how many people are in the building, on a floor, or in a room at any point in time. These sensors are slightly different to the open area sensors Alex just talked about, and again different to the ones that Travis talked about. These use 3D stereo vision technology, so they're using camera technology, but similar to Alex and XY Sense, privacy is of paramount importance with these sensors. And again, like the XY Sense sensor, only metadata leaves the sensor, so we have no imagery leaving the sensor. There are, in this particular sensor, we have up to 4 levels of privacy protection built in to the sensor itself. Very intelligent sensor in as much as it can count bi-directionally, so it understands a person walking in and walking out of a space. One of the other things that's been developed recently with this sensor and is starting to see an uptake is this queue length and dwell time measuring capabilities. Again, initially developed for the retail sector. Stores want to know what's happening and where people are going. But what it's also finding usages in is with some large multinationals, where, for instance, like canteens, how long's the queue at the canteen? How long, not how many people, but how long have people been in that queue? Is another area where these can be used. They also have a very useful feature, which is what we call the multi-sensor feature, which is basically we can stitch the sensors together, and we can up to 9 of these sensors can be stitched together at any point in time, so that a body, and again the anonymization, I'll try and get it out, is the same as with the PIR and with the area sensor. So a person entering is only seen as a body, but with the multi-sensor stitching approach, that person can be tracked, or that body can be tracked through all 9 of the sensors. So you can start to kind of see the movement of people as well within a defined space. Again, very similar to, we can do movement of people with the area sensor. Obviously, we can't do movement of people with the PIR sensor, but we are starting to see a lot more uses for this type of sensor in the corporate real estate place.
So I imagine, since this is ingress and egress, it's probably not uncommon for companies and workplaces to have kind of a mix of sensors. It sounds like ingress, egress, but then also maybe something else once people are in there to understand where they're going. Is that safe to assume?
Definitely. I'm a very strong believer in there isn't one sensor that fits all. And I think with the this new hybrid office of the future, where we're going to have desking, we're going to have collaboration spaces, we're going to have lots of different spaces. And for me, the thing at the moment is we don't know what we're going to have. There's going to be lots of iterations of people are going to be let's try this, see how it works, let's try this, see how it works. And one of the real things you need that data. People who had sensors in the past have got some historical data. How relevant that historical data is in today's world, I don't know, but at least you have a starting point. I always reference this, we're all starting with a blank canvas. Those who have historical data can at least put a base coat on. Those with no data have really got to start thinking about mixing the paint. And we've really, we're going to get small phone booths. Do we really want to put an area sensor in a phone booth that's for single occupancy? No, we can put a PIR sensor in there. We're going to have collaboration and soft seating spaces. Can we use PIRs there? No, we can't. They don't work in that environment. Area sensors, ideal for that environment. But then we might have spaces where we just want to know how many people are in the space, not necessarily what they're doing. People counter sensors.